Ahoy Ragamuffins, Jamie here, and what we're going to talk about today is how many days a week you should be lifting, running, walking, working out, whatever it is. As you all know, or maybe this is your first time watching one of these videos, I'm a non-diet trainer. I don't take weight measurements or photos. I really want people to understand the benefits of lifelong movement over time so that they will stick with it or find a routine that works for them. This question came up because I had some initial consultations for one-to-one training in the last week. I do all of that virtually. Oftentimes the question of, well, how many times a week should we meet, or should I do anything outside of our sessions or whatnot? And I always invite curiosity for folks. So I end up asking a question back. I will say, well, how many times a week are you lifting, running, working out, exercising, whatnot now? And most often people will respond with nothing. I am currently not doing anything. And I am a trainer that really opens up the space to non-judgment, no shame, nothing in that. I really want people to answer honestly with that. And I don't want people to feel shame around exercise. I'm in charge of creating that space. We're creating that space together. Hopefully you feel it a little bit now. But with that being said, with that honest answer of nothing, I am not doing anything at the moment, I find that adding 3 days a week is too much, or 5 days a week is too much. I do really encourage 1 day a week, because what I tell people during the initial consult is, I would rather work with you 1 time a week for 52 weeks than 3 times a week for 12 weeks, 3 months, something like that, or 4 times a week for 4 months, or whatever it is. I would rather build the habit of consistently showing up. I would rather us together, build the habit of consistently showing up, and no matter what that looks like. So with the client a couple days ago, they're going through a very difficult season right now. I said, hey, if this isn't a good time to sign up for you, then by all means, you do not have to sign up. And if you do sign up for the once a week, we do have to understand that our training sessions are going to be all across the wall of what it looks like. Sometimes you're going to show up to the session and be feeling good, and you want the strength training and maybe whatever I have planned that day. But other days you'll show up most likely and say, oh my gosh, I slept so poorly in the last couple days or whatnot. I don't feel like doing anything. And I'm here. And what we're going to do is together, we honor that. We honor that feeling. We sit with that feeling, not wanting to do anything, but the practice of showing up really builds that compassion muscle for showing up in different ways. You'll see I talk about all these other muscles, not just the biceps and the triceps and but the compassion muscle, the forgiveness muscle, all of these mental pieces that we do need to build over time. When you show up and you slept like crap, then I'll ask you, or you can ask yourself in your head, if you're watching this and you're not a client of mine, you can ask yourself in your head, where can I meet myself today? What is something that I can do that feels accessible on a day where I slept like crap, my body feels tired, or whatever reason, right? Maybe that's stretching. So what I offer people on that day is a static stretching class. So maybe we come side to side and hold the stretches, or maybe we set a timer. A timer is such a great tool for showing up, because you can set it for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, whatever it is that day. And you could say, I am going to move my body. I am going to dance. I am going to rotate. I'm going to lie on the floor and stretch and move in different positions on the ground for X amount of time. So that's why I really like the use of a timer. But also there's that caveat of don't fall. The timer is not something that you idolize. You don't have to always go to the end of the seconds, and you have to force yourself to be, if you put 10 minutes, then you got to do 10 minutes or else you're bad. We're really trying to get out of that language of I am bad for not doing X, because if we're going to show up for life in fitness, in movement, in exercise, and that we enjoy, we are going to show up so differently throughout the seasons, throughout the year, throughout a specific program. If you're working with a program right now that you're doing, and you've looked through the sets and the reps and all that stuff, and you're like, okay, I need to have this much energy in order to show up, then what's going to happen on the days where you don't have that amount of energy? It's that whole kind of quote of, go big or go home. If you are not able to go big and you feel that in your body, then the likelihood of you talking yourself out of it because of all these fitness things that have been in your mind is going to be high. You're probably going to go home because you're internally beating yourself up in your head that, oh, I should have slept better. I should have done, X, Y, Z in order to prep myself better. Why do I always do this to myself? It's that like really mean friend inside of our head. But, I think that has been born from either other voices or other quotes. So all or something, Barb, non-diet trainer, I love that. She says all or something. I like to say there's so much in between all and nothing. There's so much in between go big and go home. Like when my mom was little, she always used to say, like, think about, white and black. And obviously it's kind of funny now, but the million shades of gray. I don't want to say the other one because it's probably trademarked or something, but there's so many ways that you can meet yourself in the middle of that. Now, going back to the once a week, we're really wanting to implement the showing up once a week for continual weeks, for years, even because what happens is sometimes when people get into these programs, they think, oh, I'm going to create this routine of, showing up 4 days a week. And then, week 2, when they don't show up on the 3rd day, they stall. And I'm thinking of like a car stall. It's not turning on. They have stopped themselves. They are now going to live for 4 or 5 months where they're not doing any exercise because they're beating themselves up so much in their mindset that they stumbled on this, program of 3 to 4 times a week. So we're really wanting to create this lifelong relationship with exercise, this healthy relationship with exercise, this I want to come back to exercise, so that's why we create connections that are about how exercise makes us feel and not about how exercise makes us look, because that is fleeting. How we look is constantly shifting as we grow older and, all these things happen. So, thinking about how exercise makes us feel can be a really big fuel for that. But with implementing that once a week show up, I'm hoping that you can continually show up. I know in your brain right now, you're like, no, Jamie, once a week, that's not enough. That's not enough. But that's exactly the piece in our head that is holding us back. If you're doing nothing now, once a week is great. 5 minutes a day is great. If you're doing nothing, like one minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we want to get to this place of compassion for ourselves, curiosity, instead of saying, I'm so lazy, I did X, Y, and Z. Why did I feel like crap? Oh, it's because I spent, 3 hours doom scrolling last night or whatever it is. So that is, we can take an actionable step towards helping not doom scrolling right before bed, but I'm so lazy, I always do this to myself. What actionable step are we taking after that? So hopefully if you stick around, keep watching these videos. I really like putting these out. I know these are 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatnot of just kind of me blabbing, but maybe it was something that you needed to hear today. Remember, once a week for 52 weeks, I'd rather see that than 3 times a week for 4 weeks and then stop, or 4 times a week and then stop. We're really honing in on that consistency and showing up differently on different days. That being said, you all are awesome. Let me know what other questions you have. I love answering all of the things. So remember, movement for more, because you are made for more. I'll see y'all next time.